Welcome to Rat Girls Podcast. I'm Abigail Jensen, and today we are joined by Hanna Anderson. She is a comedian, a writer, co-host of the Dating Detective podcast, and creator of the Don't Get Killed in the Parking Lot. Wait, is that the full name?
Good question.
Don't Get
Killed Club is like the club.
The club. But then
the workshop
is we don't want to get killed in the parking lot.
We don't. And that was why we named it that.
But yeah.
It's a self-defense workshop.
It's amazing. I went to one.
You're in the club.
I'm in the club. I made it. My first adult club, I think.
Oh, I didn't even think about how, people don't have hobbies when they're grown up. So now I've created something where we can make a hobby out of not dying.
Yeah, out of fighting. I came home and showed my husband the moves. And he was like, cool. Because I was still counting out loud, you know?
Oh, true.
I'm treating it like dancing. I'm 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wait, can you stand on this side of me and when you attack me rather than that side?
The attacker has to be exactly where I want him.
Exactly. I think that's something I've learned in starting a self-defense anything is that it's not a one-time thing. You gotta practice a little bit. But
well, and I was like, thank God we filmed, who's the instructor, her name?
Oh, Bree.
Thank God I filmed her doing the things, or else it would be
because you can practice
out the brain.
Well, we have, I don't know when you're going to put this out, but everybody go join if you live in LA, don'tgetkilledclub.com, because it's new and I'm donating the money. I honestly just started it because I was like, I need to learn how to do this and I don't know how.
Yeah.
And I met her who's a baddie.
Totally.
Krav Maga, I think is her background.
Yeah.
I met her at a party and was just do you want to teach a self-defense workshop? I'll just get people to come and you can teach us how to not get killed in the parking lot.
It was so good. There were so many kind people that I met there.
Yeah.
All these girlies that are just excited. I feel like people are really along with not wanting to get killed and do self-defense, which is amazing, people are also just looking for community right now. And so it's very cool that you are introducing people.
Thanks. I wanted to vent. I wanted to punch something and then be doesn't it suck that we have to?
Yeah. And does anyone want to go get mimosas now?
Yeah.
That's the vibe.
Yeah, maybe that should be after next one.
Fine.
Or we just start adding a drinks portion at the end. Oh my God. Well, if anybody is listening that has a drink company or something that wants to sponsor.
I love a drink in the park.
Yeah.
A wine company.
A little spritzer?
A spritzer. What Loverboy. We need Kyle.
Sponsored by
what's his name?
I don't know.
Do you watch Bravo?
I mean, not you.
Kyle, whatever, Cooke. He's always looking for new brand deals, ways to get it out there.
Let's do it.
And if you're for the girlies, Kyle, you will do
exactly.
this. And if you're sexist, you will not do it. So
also, I'm
decide.
Looking at you, and I forget that there's a camera I can also look at. Because our podcast, we don't do video as much.
Yeah. Do you do video via Zoom?
We do it via Zoom, and my co-host is in Florida, and then most of our guests are anonymous.
Okay.
So we can't put them on video, obviously. We thought about, could we do the thing where it's a silhouette?
Totally.
And we were that's way too much work.
Dumois vibes.
Yeah, I guess we could. But no, that's not. It's a lot of work, and we're not this cool. But I love the video.
This just started today. Hannah's our first guest in the new studio.
I love the studio. It looks great.
Which, I'm so happy. We met just in the park in West Hollywood. This is why I love West Hollywood. Am I allowed to say?
Go for it. We're public at this point.
We're public.
It's fine.
But it's so funny that I just ran into you and it's
you ran into the workshop.
The workshop that you were hosting. And I was like, hey, I know you. We follow each other on Instagram.
That was really special for me because this podcast is new and I follow you. So I was vibe slut.
Oh my God.
I was not cool about it at all.
No, I was so excited because that's just why I love West Hollywood. It's a little big town. And I don't think I realized you lived here.
We're neighbors.
Now we're neighbors.
And Dating Detectives, which I'll tell the people what it is
please.
In a second. But our producer who created it, Molly, we met. She saw a TikTok of my stand-up, which is crazy.
I love it.
And that's how we connected because she was looking for a co-host, and then she lived 3 blocks down in West Hollywood as well. Isn't that crazy?
Griff's in West Hollywood, Petty Crimes host. We need
Griff
a little
also
podcaster
support group.
A West Hollywood podcaster support group. I see this podcaster walking around West Hollywood all the time that I'm a huge fan of, and it's to the point where I'm
Who?
His name's Carrie O'Donnell. He hosts like Sexy Unique podcast.
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have been a fan of his for like 10 years, but I'm such...
Have you said anything? Nothing?
No, and there was one week I ran into him 4 times, and I was like, is the universe like pushing me? And then like I was like, if I run in one more time this week, I'll say something, and I didn't. And I was like,
yeah, that's a lot. That's like getting to stalker.
I know. I was like, am I stalking him without
like,
realizing
maybe I can't. No, I get it.
Are we destined?
I have it with, he does I don't know if it's a podcast or like a Sirius XM show, but do you know the comedian Noe Towers?
We had him on the pod.
Shit. Okay, well, now he's going to hear that I see him everywhere. Oh my God. And I have the same thing where I'm like, oh my God, he's so funny, and I should say something, but I don't.
No, he's the best. You should say something, because he's literally the greatest human alive. Like
he did a bit about Zoloft, and I literally asked about Zoloft to my psychiatrist, and now I'm on Zoloft.
His like
that's the
influence.
Power of comedy.
That's the power of Zach. You should tell him.
That's the power of Zach. Is that weird? You know him, so now it's not weird for me to walk up and be like, "Hey, you're the reason I'm on Zoloft."
I feel like he'd be so honored. But it's funny, like,
hey Zach.
I feel like I fangirl over podcasters more than I do like celebrity, because you feel like you know them, kind of.
It's parasocial.
It's parasocial. Do you feel people are ever a little too parasocial to you?
So I don't know. I don't think so, because I'm like, here, let me think. Yes and no. Yes, because people are sharing some really crazy dating stories a lot. But no, because I am okay with it. I think if somebody like wasn't respecting a boundary at some point, one time somebody DM'd me just to say like my voice was annoying, and I was like, that's not nice. Like, don't do that.
Like, why do you have this much time on your hands?
Yeah.
Don't tell me that.
I can't change it. Like, it's just what it is. But if people are actually just being honest about what they're going through, and they are not mad at me if I don't respond right away or whatever.
Yeah.
But then like at the self-defense workshop, I shared it with our podcast, and a lot of people that came listened to the show, and I get more nervous than I think they do, because I'm like, oh, I want to like be friends, but I also do want to have a boundary for their sake, but also I don't want to have a boundary because I'd love to be friends, but also I don't want to be, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to navigate
about like living up to the expectation of like your podcast persona. Sometimes I get in my, like when someone says they like me, I'm like, fuck, now I have to be likable. Like,
well, as someone who started as a fan, you're very likable, and you're doing great. You're living up to it.
That's why I brought you here, just to compliment me.
Let's do it. I could do it the whole time.
Circle. But so your podcast, let's talk about it, because this will get us into our main cheese, which is, why didn't I just blank? Trust your intuition.
Intuition highlighted.
Oh my God, definition. She is prepared.
Guys, I need notes.
I love it.
I forget how to talk if I don't have anything.
So tell us. Me too. And I never do, so I never know how to talk. Tell us about your podcast, and then how that like led into your intuition, like knowledge.
Yeah. So the Dating Detectives, I co-host it with a private investigator named Mackenzie, and think of Legally Blonde was a PI in the middle of nowhere, Florida. Like, she's from Plant City. She's always like, yeah, like we don't wear shoes to the Walmart, is like how she describes like where she's from.
Britney Spears coded.
Yeah, she's like a TV show just in herself. So she was posting like PI videos. I was doing comedy, and Molly, our producer's friend, dated a guy who wasn't on the internet anywhere. And Molly was like, weird. And then they were going to go to Joshua Tree on a little date weekend. And Molly said, no. I need you to at least ask this man why he's not on Google.
Yeah.
And so the friend was like, hey, just like totally chill. Yeah. Like, why are you not on social media or Google or any sign of life anywhere? And he immediately like started deleting all of their messages and was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like moving out of state today. And like just fled.
Sketchy.
Then he like later came back and said he had a brain injury and forgot their whole relationship and wanted to date again. It was a whole thing.
That's an amazing
it's insane.
way to slide back into
I know. He's like, I'm so sorry. I forgot if I did anything bad to you. I had a brain injury. You want to pick right back up?
Wow. I'm going to start doing that to people.
Do not. No, just... Unfortunately, brain injuries have come up a lot on the podcast. But it inspired Molly to want to investigate these people who are like very much not who they say they are.
Yeah.
So we created the term dogfish, which is like an extension of catfish.
Okay.
Catfish,
Yes.
fake picture online.
Totally.
Dogfish is like a secret family in it for like like reality TV, in it for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
That's what Dogfish is. And it's evolved into a show where a lot of times we'll have Mackenzie just tell me PI experiences she's been on where she's caught she's caught women with the fake pregnancy belly. She's like followed men to every girlfriend across the city. Wow. And like, she's just seen some funny, one guy was like, he was in an open relationship, but he was still cheating on, like he was doing the open relationship and then doing more in a nudist colony, and that part he hadn't shared. Like there's just so many things people are lying about.
It's like, man, you had leeway. Like,
exactly.
Why'd you, like, just ask a question. Like,
just
bring
the wife or whatever. Or people are, I don't get it. But then we also have guests come on and share some crazy stuff. Wow. And just when I think that we've heard it all, there's more. It's not always men being dogfish. Mm-hmm. It is a lot of them.
We love equality.
Everyone can be
a dogfish. Can
I curse?
Yeah, of course.
Already? Everyone can be shitty.
Yay! We did it, women.
There's dogfish everywhere. Yeah, no, we've had a lot. Although we definitely have. There's like some. I'm like, there's some check boxes we haven't marked yet, which is like bad. But it's true. I do want to hear because I think it's different for like a ton of different types of dating.
Yeah.
You hear, I don't know, just no matter the relationship, there are shitty people, and we're into that goss.
Yeah, I love goss, one. And two, hearing goss like that makes me feel better about myself. So I always love that too.
I hope it makes people feel less alone, because everyone that comes on feels like an idiot, and they're like, I should have seen these signs, blah, blah, blah. But then you hear all these stories and they're all amazing. Like the women that come on are so smart. They're all like powerful, whether they're in business or whatever.
Yeah.
I hope that anyone listening is at least like, okay, if it could happen to her, then I'm not an idiot.
Totally. When you're in it, you have like, it's so hard to see. And that's for even like a relationship where they're not dogfishing you, but maybe there's just some red flags.
Abuse.
Yeah, like anything. Like it is just, no one can say like it won't happen to me, because you don't know that.
And when you say that, you're more vulnerable.
Right, because you're not paying attention.
And I catch myself. Like, and I mean, that's the one thing I do worry about, is I don't want people to listen and be like, I don't trust anybody. My boyfriend, I don't trust him now. And it's like, no, I trust him. We say trust but verify is what we say.
Love that.
So like, we can still believe in love, but we just have to like do a background check.
Yeah, that's that's great. And now there's so many ways to do background checks, like your guys' podcast. There's also, Are We Dating the Same Guy? Like those groups. I feel like the women are like banding together.
That has come up for sure. If anyone doesn't know, it's like Facebook groups that are area, like your city has one. And they're supposed to be very monitored. Mm-hmm. So it's not just anybody on there. And you just like post a picture of a guy and you don't say anything. You're just like, anybody else dating him?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And people have caught a lot.
And I'm the person that's like, probably shouldn't be on, because I'm on the groups for cities that I don't live in.
I'm in the groups. No, but what if your friend is dating one of the guys and you see the picture, Well, that's why I joined Salt Lake like at one point, because my friend was dating a guy from Salt Lake and I was like, he is sketchy. Like, I'm going to post him for you, You did, and you did?
No, she was said I could not, but I searched his name and found him in the group. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh God.
And he is
so
just.
You caught him.
I caught him. If you've watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, like that's the vibe he was getting. The male, like the kind of toxic.
Well, what?
Dakota Zach vibes.
I've seen a little bit. I know. I'm curious what red flag set it off for you, or what made you think to look him up?
I mean, everything. His first date with her was at a gun show.
Okay.
Yeah.
She reached their own, but
she thought it was going to be like Cadet Kelley. She didn't understand what a gun show was.
Wait, she thought it was going to be a what?
Like Cadet Kelley. Like
she thought it was going to be like baton twirling, which I would love.
No, it'd be so beautiful, and like that's an art in its own.
But it was just
It was like
shooting.
he was buying stuff for his gun, like. So.
What a weird first date.
I know.
Although I will say, would that be a good first date for me? No. Mm-hmm. Would it weed it out really fast?
If you're
for
like,
me,
yeah, you vibe with that person.
I guess I
not.
respect when someone like wears their guns on their sleeve.
When they don't conceal and carry.
When they don't conceal the So you were like red flag.
Red flag. My intuition went off. And so what like have you learned from what is intuition? What is trusting it?
So we have dogfish. We love to make up words.
I love that.
And we also made up femtuition.
Great.
So intuition, trust your gut, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's kind of got a woo-woo, I think, connotation sometimes. And for me especially, I'm like, yeah, totally. How? Like how? I don't know. My intuition was loud and I didn't listen to it. How do I listen to it? It just... For a long time, I didn't really get it.
Yeah.
And then femtuition kind of came about as like the specific intuition that comes from your own personal experience, typically as a woman, as a femme person, or as a marginalized person. I kind of think it's just that specific relationship with intuition that you develop through your experience. And yeah, we say it all the time because that's half the battle is just trusting that.
Wow.
But I've learned a lot. That's like the consistent thing is people having those moments where they have now I'm going to go to an example. I'm all over the place. We just had an episode where the girl Harper was in an art school with this guy who was like really hot. And he liked her kind of in a stalky way. Like he would like wait outside her dorm a little too many times. But her friends were like, oh, he has a crush.
It's like romantic-y coded.
Yeah. Like which is so like, we love it. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I'm like, would they get away with it if they weren't so hot?
Right. It doesn't translate to real life.
It doesn't translate. So he was kind of being creepy. She finally was like, okay, I'll hang out with you. He invited her to, I think to see like a house or a museum or something very artsy and cool that was up her alley. And she went with him and in that moment was like having like chest pains when she was there with him alone. And she'd never had any anxiety or panic attack before, but her body's like, why can't I breathe? Why is like, she was getting all the symptoms of a panic attack.
Yeah.
And had no reason for it. Like he wasn't, other than just being in a alone space with this guy and he was doing little things that looking back were red flags. She like had the reaction and it made me think about how our bodies just know so much before we do.
Yeah.
So then I went down the rabbit hole of like the science behind intuition. And my favorite definition I found was that intuition is pattern recognition really fast.
Whoa.
So it's everything your body's ever experienced.
Yeah.
Happening really, really fast without giving you the why in your brain. You're not like coming up with an explanation for why your body's feeling that way.
Yeah.
But it is coming from experience and data. It's like your body's algorithm telling you that there's a bad vibe.
That's wild.
So it's not woo-woo. It is real. And we just have a really hard time trusting it. And there's a lot of reasons why. You're not a bad person or a bad listener if you don't trust your femtuition. And that's something I feel like this whole podcast, I'm just like learning. I'm hearing so many different experiences and it's helping me realize less about like what it is and more about why we don't listen to it.
Yeah, why don't we listen to it?
There's a lot of influence. Well, one, there's a lot of noise, like digital noise. And I think the best way to get in touch with what you believe and what feels right and wrong is like to be quiet.
That's why I love showering. It's like the one time a day I have real thoughts.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Which is sad. Like it's like
it's so true.
The 10 minutes without my phone. I'm like, whoa, I know how to think still.
You're like, that's a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't say this because it's a business idea, but my roommate and I want to make like an easy button, but called Shower Thought that like records your thought in your shower when you have like a genius idea and you could just hit it and go,
You need that next to the bed too, like when you're falling asleep.
There you go. Put it in the car thought.
Yeah, when you're not on your phone all moments.
There you go. Because it's the only time you actually think about things, but you can't like write it down.
Yeah.
Then you go to your phone to record it, and then you get a notification, and it's gone.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, I'm on Instagram. How'd I end up here?
Anyway, nobody take that. Unless you know how to like help me make it.
Yeah, like a big Staples button.
Exactly.
Like,
Just like a button that records it. I don't know.
Great.
Maybe there's an app. We're getting off topic.
No, but that's one of the main like things that distract you.
Yeah, but I don't do it. Like I can tell you all day to meditate and to go on a walk without a podcast. Like it's so hard to actually listen to what your body's feeling.
Yeah.
And then you add to that, like, am I just having anxiety? Am I...
Because this is an OCD thought.
Listening to too much Dating Detectives and then not try... You know what I mean? Like, you can convince yourself based on so much that it's not really something to listen to.
Yeah. I have OCD. And so sometimes, like, my intrusive thoughts, I've been told, don't listen to... So then that's hard to, like...
That's so real.
Weed out what is, like, the plane's going down, an intrusive thought versus my... intuition, it's actually going down, you know?
Totally. I wrote that down because I think that's where like femtuition is different than instinct and intuition because it's like your relationship to your intuition has to factor in your OCD, has to factor in your specific triggers with anxiety.
Right.
I'm no expert, so I like won't speak to a specific, OCD diagnosis, help or whatever, but I do think that that's like a real thing to know. Having to get to know yourself in order to learn what that gut feeling is.
No, totally. Like, what are my triggers? Like being on an airplane. Like,
sure, there you go. So that's a real thing. And I think like the anxiety versus your gut debate is hard. I've looked into it because I wanted to hear what other people said.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like my anxiety is very loud and very like future focused or past focused. And also very self-centered. Like my anxiety was like, you're a narcissist because you are constantly just like, everyone hates me. Nothing is good for me. Like I'm not good. You know what I mean?
Which of course it's like, if you're thinking you're a narcissist, you're obviously not a narcissist.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I hope so. But hey, I do know from friends who have OCD that the maybe is something we have to accept. So maybe I am, maybe I'm not, as long as I'm not hurting anybody. But yeah, I think when I'm having a intuitive response to something, it's like very grounded, very present, and also lasts kind of a long time. It's not like an immediate, like, you should be doing this, you're not doing this enough, you're bad, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of just this syncy undercurrent feeling for me.
Yeah. Almost like this is not the like right way to describe it, but maybe an anxiety thought would be like a bird flying in, like, and maybe
like a little hummingbird.
Yeah, like, or just like it comes, like you said, it comes and leaves, and it's like a quick thought where this is like kind of simmering in you. Like, I don't even know.
No, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and I'm curious if you have any experiences like this. There was another episode. I'm like, seamless plug.
Do it.
There's another episode that I related to. It was, I think it's called like FBI, fake boyfriend investigation, we called it, because he said he was in the FBI. Spoiler alert. He was not.
That's a good fake because it is hard to get to the bottom of who's in the FBI or
Oh my
not.
God. He's like, I can't tell you what I'm doing. Like, sorry, that's against
genius.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. If they're dating you and they say they're in the CIA or the FBI, I'm not saying they're not.
No, but like, just look
Verify.
into it. Yeah.
She talked about when they broke up, like she had been dealing with sickness, like physically sick, and then she like felt the release of it. I was like, oh my God, I had like a click moment. I dated somebody who was wonderful, and he was not faking it, the FBI. Like, he's a great guy. He just wasn't the one.
Yeah.
And I had like shoulder pain, and I also was having, to get into vibe slut territory, I was like not reacting to sex in the same way I'd always been. Like, my body was like more ticklish, but in a bad way. Like, I was like rejecting touch.
Yeah.
And then I went through so many explanations. I was like, okay, I'm insecure about my body. That's what it is. Like, it's body consciousness. it's not the relationship. Definitely not the relationship.
Yeah.
That wouldn't make sense. Everything's good. So it's like a me problem. And then like when we broke up, the next experience I had sexually, I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
It wasn't that. Like there's that relief moment that you didn't realize you were like carrying it in your body.
Your body, like you said, knows before you do. It's
It does.
wild.
So now I try to be like, okay, if I'm feeling that way, not necessarily break up or whatever,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just evaluated a lot more. And I also like started going to therapy after that because I was like, okay.
No, it's good to like have someone to talk things through with.
Yeah. And be like, I don't know why I feel this way. But also sometimes talk therapy, I don't know. I'll shout her out. Haley Jacobson is a writer that is awesome and talks a lot about OCD. So I've learned a lot from her. But like certain types of therapy don't help her.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Sure.
Like cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm not going to speak for her. Everybody go look her up.
Yeah,
But
I was so curious.
Well, I'm curious about you. If you've had any like gut reactions.
Well, it is funny because I feel like you probably see this, especially because I'm assuming the majority of people who submit to you all are women, and your listeners are probably majority women, or
Majority, not always.
Not always.
We've had some.
But I feel like women have pattern recognition way more often because we've had to, or marginalized people, because it's like, safety barriers we have up where like it dings if we get uncomfortable. Like sometimes Jesse and I will go out, meet a group of people, and like there'll be a new guy in the group or whatever, and I'll be like, I got weird vibes from that guy, and he's like, really? Like I think he was okay, and I'm like, yeah.
Can't explain it.
I can't explain it, but I just didn't love the, like what he was in. Like, I don't even have word. Like, he didn't say anything weird. It was just like maybe demeanor or whatever, but it was like, yeah, I just didn't love that. And then come to like 3 months later, we learn, this is kind of
he had a
incel-y kind of guy who like hates, women or whatever. Like has been posting really like incel-y stuff on his Instagram, and I'm like, he didn't even bring that up at all, but I like immediately clocked that there was something there. So I definitely feel like I feel more intuition and pattern recognition than like Jesse has to.
I think that's so real. Yeah. And that is, your head has to be on a swivel. You're just, you have it's a defense mechanism to develop that intuition when you live that way.
Totally.
And then also, I was going to say something and now I forgot what it was. I trust hummingbird went away. It was so good. See, that's why I need notes. No, I'm just thinking about that experience and I know what I was going to say. Yay! It was about how people tell you're being like judgmental.
Yes.
And people are often like, like you're being overdramatic. Like, don't just be nice.
Totally.
It's like women have to have that intuition, and then women also are met with so many things that tell us not to trust it.
I know. That's the judgmental one's so real. Jesse and I recently had like literally a talk about this where he was like, I feel like sometimes you're like a little judgmental of like these friends of mine. And I was like, it's just because I don't get a good vibe from that, and like, again, they haven't done anything to like really prove it to me, but it's just
your body's telling you
my
something.
body. I don't feel good when I'm around them, so I'm like, I'm gonna listen to that and try to be around them less often, kind of.
Well, I'm glad you're able to communicate that, because I think it doesn't necessarily mean they're a dangerous person, but you're right. If they're not making you feel good for whatever reason, like there's a reason for that. And I also, there's so much here. Like I could talk about this for so long.
I love it.
I've been trying, similarly to you, to be okay with that and like just say, they're not my vibe. And that's something I can live with. We don't have to be best friends, and I can accept it, because I think a lot of us are like, why don't we fit? What's wrong with me? Like, how do I be nicer? I've just been trying to be a little more okay with my intuition telling me that
not everyone's
the fit.
Yeah, not everyone's for us. And like if someone like Jesse has friends he wants to be around, I will be around them, like, but I think in a capacity that like works for me.
Yeah.
If that makes it. Now, like, Jesse's friends are gonna listen
I was
about
gonna say,
me, like,
drop some names.
drop some names. No, these are people we're not even around anymore. But it was just like, I think it's just like you can set up boundaries even if it's like another, like, because sometimes I think a lot of people might have issues with another friend who comes into a friend group and doesn't want to like disrupt the friend group, not even dating related. And it's like, okay, you don't have to hang out with that person one-on-one. Maybe you have like, you're always with them around other people. You're not the one like sitting next to them. If it's a dinner, whatever.
Right. You just find what works for you.
Yeah.
And that's part of why it's like, know your own triggers, know your own comfort level, have that meeting with yourself. Because then you have a better understanding of your femtuition. Then you can know the difference between like, I am being a bitch and being judgy versus, no, I have a right to feel uncomfortable around this person. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you're right. I mean, I had one. I'm gonna put a person on blast. I won't say their name, but John, my boyfriend.
Yep.
Somebody like he worked with a long time ago. They're not close friends and never really were. And I was giving him some credit because he was like, I had an intuitive feeling that they were not great. And then they did this and now I'm on your side. And I was like,
we love it, John.
Welcome. They like sent him some weird message of just like, yo, your girlfriend, I saw her comedy video. She's like actually funny. No. We have this joke that like women are never funny and we like send each other these videos of like female comedians because we're always like, we want them to be funny. Like we're not being sexist. Like we're wish they were. Them.
Wow.
They just never are. And then he was like, she made eye contact with the audience and like had timing. Like she wasn't bad.
She's not like most girls.
It was so weird, like thanks, but also I was so like my blood was boiling.
Of course, like what a ridiculous person, and what a ridiculous person to message that and think like he's gonna take this amazing.
Also to say it to him, like tell me you liked it.
Yeah,
the way they said it was like your girlfriend, like good, like good, your like, property.
He's getting proper. He's
did
getting
a decent
credit.
job.
Yeah.
Made basic eye contact with the audience. Oh my God. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I didn't know we were still doing that, but I guess
I didn't know anyone still thought women weren't funny. Like, what are we doing
here? We really are.
But that's so like, yeah, that's nice that he right away clocked that and was like, oh, this is weird as hell.
Oh, yeah. No, I wouldn't say that he wasn't that person, but I think up until that point, they were just like similar to a lot of us. There's like little moments where you're like, something off about them. And then eventually something has to happen to be like, okay, no, they're not my people. And sometimes that takes longer than others. And if that happens for you in a relationship, now I'm thinking of people that have come on the show. They're like, why didn't I see it sooner? And it's like, your intuition's getting better and better every day. Yeah,
how do you improve your intuition? Like
live.
Just like trust it more and live or like continue to confirm it, I guess.
I think, well, in the idea of it being like you're gathering information by just existing. So that helps you know when the vibe is off. I think what we talked about, like being a little quiet with yourself and finding a way to check in with yourself and not distract yourself. Yeah. It's not about like, you don't have to sit and meditate and be like, Eureka, I got it. It's more just that, at least for me, I find myself constantly distracting myself with an audiobook, with the podcast, with the friend, with the whatever, and I don't just like journal. I don't know, enough. I'm working on it, guys. But so taking that time, and then I think having your people is a big one.
Like community?
Like, yeah.
That's great.
And you talking about your friend, like being the person to be on your friend's shoulder, like trust your gut. Like it's okay if you don't do it right away, as long as you know that you have people there when you're ready.
Yeah, like having people to confirm it for you and also support, like if you leave a relationship, that kind of vibe. Okay.
It's tough because you can't make anybody leave anything.
Right, totally.
My advice for like when people ask if my friend is in a relationship that I don't like or I think it's like really bad, how do I help them? obviously I do think there's value in like saying to them like, are you okay, and having a conversation, but you don't want to push them away.
Yeah.
I say like send them memes all the time. That sounds crazy, but
No.
like keep them in your mind as much as you can, and like in a positive way, and just like as many ways that you can remind them that you are thinking of them, that you are there for them, and that they can come to you. Yeah. Or send them like a podcast episode like this or Dating Detectives.
No,
and
totally.
just like passive aggressively be like, hey, you should listen to this.
No, but I love the idea of just being that, like being ready and there.
Yeah.
Like being around, like letting them know you're there for whenever it happens, and not in a way that is like you talk about deep things all the time, but it's just like a presence, a good positive presence around them.
Yeah. You eventually people have to get there themselves. And yeah, how do you get your intuition better? I wish I had like a perfect answer to make everybody feel like they'll never get hurt again.
I'm curious about like if you did run into any of the woo aspects of it when you were researching. Like, do people talk about, like I have a friend who's she reads birth charts and she's very intuitive. So sometimes when she looks at the birth charts, like she can be like, oh, this happened to you when you were 8. Like,
and is she right? Like
she's right, yeah. And it like sparks something inside of her. And I'm like, that's its own whole crazy cool thing that I wish I had.
I mean, I would tag team that out with your friend or somebody that's more spiritual like that. Because I have a friend too. She's witchy, and she'll walk in a room and be like, oh, there's an energy here. And I'm like, really? Like, I didn't pick up on a thing. And I do think that there is a connection. I'm glad that you're bringing it up, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's BS. Like, that kind of, the thing that I was thinking about, somebody was talking about aura reading recently.
Whoa.
And they were, you know about
like
that?
Your color that emits off of you.
Yeah.
I think.
And I don't know much about it, but you know, I was around a guy that was like, this is BS and blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to say, well, what about like synesthesia? Do you know about synesthesia?
Yeah. When you see color or see numbers as colors. Is that what it is?
There's tons of different types.
Or see music as colors? I don't remember. Okay.
It can be that. It can be like, I don't know, hearing color. I'm not sure. But it's that kind of like mix of senses.
Totally. Like some people's brains actually just are wired differently.
And I think that we write it off a lot when there's not an explanation.
Yeah.
And that to me is where intuition has become feminized, because there's not an immediate explanation. People are like, well, we can't explain why you feel that way. It seems more emotional. So maybe it's woo-woo.
I also think the death of curiosity. Like, people have to be curious. And I feel like men, we love men. We love men. I love men. I'm married to a man. You're with a man. Like, but women read more fantasy than men. They read more fiction more often than men, I feel. And that just like broadens our empathy and our curiosity, because it makes us interested in other people's stories, interested in other possibilities, able to put ourselves in their shoes. Where I feel like there's a big movement of men in the grind mindset culture reading like self-help books. And it's making them more. They
need to understand why they felt a certain way.
Yeah.
Rather than just be like, well, you felt it.
Yeah. And be like, they can apply certain things to themselves because they're reading these self-help books, but they can't go outside of themselves. And so like maybe if they had an intuition moment, like they would be able to be like, oh, like I'm looking inside myself and like
I'm sitting with myself.
Yeah, this is why it happened. But then if someone else says it, it's like more dismissive, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if they don't understand it. And I'm saying this thing, like I think I feel that way sometimes too, where I'm like, I definitely go down rabbit holes of like wanting to learn in a way that's, I've done it a lot with the podcast where somebody's a narcissist and I'm like, but why? And truly so many of the experts are just like, stop asking why, because you're not going to understand, because you're not like if you don't think that way,
it doesn't make sense to you.
You're not dealing with the same type of person.
Yeah.
But point being, yeah, I think that you're so right. Like the curiosity that comes with being open to something you don't understand.
Yeah. And that goes for
so
being
valuable.
open to, like, if someone says this person gives me a bad vibe, instead of shutting it down and be like, there's no explanation, like asking questions and being like,
I trust you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I think asking questions, and starting with at least like, oh, okay, now I'm going to take it real dark. How does this play into like assault?
Yeah.
And believing women.
No, that's so real though. That translates like,
it's the same response of like, oh, I don't believe you're feeling this gut feeling. Oh, that makes it a lot easier for me to also not believe your experience in general.
Totally.
Damn it.
Yeah, it all is intertwined.
It really is.
Basically, reading romantasy books would just like help everyone and probably like create world peace.
I think so too. I think go off.
Go off.
I love what you posted the other day where you were like, all of your favorite romantasy books are about like revolutionaries.
Yeah, like going against corrupt governments and like saving immigrants and
literally
like migrants and
tyrants. And
going against tyrants. Some of these girlies don't realize that they are political, like that when they're reading them.
They're inherently political.
Yeah.
But it is funny when some people take it the other way and they're like, well, I read the same book and I think I saw like Wicked. Yeah. There was a lot of like right-wing adopting of Wicked.
Totally being like anti-trans, like weirdly I saw that.
I
like,
saw
right-wing.
it's like Elphaba is like a woman wearing a red MAGA hat and look at how they treat her. I'm like, I don't think that's what they were going for.
I'm dead. You're like, it's more like she's protecting this marginalized group. And they're blaming the marginalized group on all the problems in Oz. And the people of Oz are falling for it instead of protecting the animals like she's trying to do.
This is another argument for taking a step back and taking out the headphones, people, because when we are scrolling and listening to confirmation bias type stuff, then you go watch Wicked and you see exactly what you want to see. But if you're taking a little more time away from that, and then also reading things that are not the same thing, maybe, I don't know, it'll broaden.
Then you can see the original intention, which was for Glinda and Elphaba to be
together.
Lesbians,
Absolutely. Yeah, no, for sure.
No, 100. The like guy who wrote the book is like, no, they're in love, and I'm like, oh, this makes everything makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Is there anything else with intuition like we should touch on? Like,
well, I was thinking if we want to talk about like some dating safety.
Yes, please.
That's another thing that comes up a lot, and
that's huge.
I've learned a bit. I'm not a licensed PI, but I have one.
Yeah, there you go.
One in my pocket.
My best friend is a licensed PI.
She's a PI, so don't mess with me. But if anyone's dating or in relationships and wants some tips, I'll tell you what has come up that I didn't know before doing this podcast. One is the value of getting someone's license plate number. Apparently, that can open the door to any piece of information you might need. Not any, but you know what I mean. It's a lot. Like, we don't necessarily have access to it, but if anything bad happened where law enforcement got involved and you had a plate number for a person, that would make it a lot easier.
Because it like going over state lines, they can find the plate.
Well, it's more about being able to trace like registration to identity and then like connecting
to an address.
Yeah, any address that it's been associated with. And then PIs have a database where they can like find your AIM username from 2005.
Whoa.
Like they know anything that's been connected to any email and phone number and car and whatever.
Cool.
License, they're allowed to do it. But if you ever got into a sticky situation and all you had was their license plate, that would be a good start.
Yeah, or like if you like on a date with a guy, see him pull up, take a picture of the license plate, and then send it to a friend and be like, just like,
exactly.
You have this too. Worst case scenario.
Ooh, sorry, I'm like moving all over the place. I'm getting excited.
Don't be sorry.
I'm like, yes.
You're giving it
send
such
it to your
good
friend.
info.
Share your location.
Yeah.
Obviously. I hope we're all doing that. Trust but verify. We said you're not crazy if you like look into somebody. Like if you're not Googling.
We always Google before the first date.
I think a lot of us, at least our generation, are doing that. Some people are still like scared to do it. I think not having a social presence or some kind of internet presence is a red flag. I know some people are private and don't feel that way, but I still think you should be able to find like a trace of someone.
Or like a LinkedIn. Like
exactly.
That's, like at least prove that you are in society.
Yeah.
Like,
and if someone says, I've heard the example, like we've had people on the podcast be like, oh, I like work for Google, so I was able to wipe myself off the internet. Nope, that's not how that works.
wow.
If somebody tells you that they were able to wipe themselves completely off the internet, that's a red flag, I think.
Definitely. And I would, though, because I know nothing about Google, I'd be like, yeah, totally. So I'm
Yeah.
glad to know that that's not a thing that works.
Well, I also think that if anybody's just pushing back against like your valid concern
Yeah.
and they're telling you that you're too insecure, you're too needy, like if you need reassurance, I think, and someone's like not cool with it, that's a red flag. It doesn't necessarily mean they're lying, but it does mean that they're not right for you.
Yeah, and they're not being completely honest, so it's like,
Yeah.
or forthcoming.
Yeah. And if they don't have something to hide, then they will be okay with it. Especially if you're communicative, like, hey, I have had an experience where someone cheated on me. Or
Right.
I listened to this podcast that tells me to be wary.
Totally, I'm doing this for my safety.
Exactly. They'll want you to do it.
Yeah.
And then another thing is just, this is the worst advice ever, but I really think the best safety advice in dating is just that you don't need to date. Like the minute you're truly aware of the fact that you don't need a relationship,
Yeah.
it makes it a lot easier not to settle for things. Because so many people just stay with somebody because they don't think they'll
Right.
find someone else.
Right.
It makes me really sad.
Or like ignore the red flags because they're like, oh, I want to be in a relationship. Like I want to end up getting married one day, have kids one day. I have this
Yeah.
like biological clock. I don't know, ticking like,
Yeah.
even though that's not even, women can have babies whenever. But like it's like putting this pressure on yourself is going to then in turn make you ignore red flags.
Yeah, exactly. And we all do it. And that's the balance I worry about walking well. I'm not blaming anyone who does
Yeah.
it. Like no one deserves to be treated terribly,
Right.
no matter what red flags you overlook.
It all comes from a place of wanting to be happy, like and wanting a
Yeah.
connection.
And you're not an idiot.
Yeah.
And I also I don't care if you make every mistake you could possibly make. If they treat you badly or abuse you, like you are not at fault at all.
Well, this is also why like talking about not perfect victims is like
Yeah.
very important because if people see, you know, a woman celebrity that they don't love everything they've ever done, but a man like abuses them, they're like, but what about this one time they were an asshole? It's like, okay, being
Just
an
say Blake
asshole is
Lively.
not illegal.
I know you're talking about Blake Lively.
Blake Lively. Being an asshole is not illegal.
Right.
Sexually harassing someone is. Okay, just for editing purposes, everyone listening, watching, the camera just died, but we saved it, so we're back. But we
We're
just
back.
we were talking about Blake Lively and talking about
Perfect victim.
imperfect victims because it's way more likely that someone's an imperfect victim than like who's perfect. And
Right.
we need people to like sympathize with that and like have empathy towards that.
Yeah, big time. So that's like the risk, I think, of being a safety dating advice person where it's like, I want everyone to protect themselves, but I also want you to know that it's okay if you make mistakes.
It's
Like you're
not
going
your
to make
fault.
mistakes.
Yeah, you are
It's not your
imperfect.
fault.
You're human.
The line.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other little things I was thinking about before coming here was like slow the F down
When dating.
when dating. That is
Yeah.
a big thing. And also if someone's rushing you and pushing your timeline, I don't love that because usually that means they want money or something.
Well, or if someone's like love bombing you,
Yeah.
like saying I love you on the third date, it's like why are they doing this?
Yeah, there's always like some reason that they're doing it, usually love bombing. Actually, the thing I think of gifts, I think of love, but what I've noticed in practice is that it's really getting to know you so well that they can
Control
meet
you.
your unmet needs. Wow. And be like, oh, I know that like Abigail specifically is insecure about her whatever. So I'm going to make sure I start really, really playing into that so she feels so happy and so safe.
Yeah.
Which sucks because also a good partner is also going to do that to some extent.
Yeah, but not so quickly. Like
Not so quickly.
Yeah.
I've had this problem. Like people open up really fast sometimes and that feels good, but there is a value in like taking your time to get to know somebody because if they know everything right away, they can use it. I'm sure I'm like making people feel terrified to date right now.
No, it's like also it's very one, unlikely that, or not very unlikely, but it's like, it's a balance. It's just a balance. It's like good to be informed. Will this happen to you? No. But has also every woman had an experience that they, you know, maybe would have wanted to avoid or like help other women avoid if they can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all we try to do.
Most people are good people. Like that's like period. I do believe that. But like just as women, we have to be more wary.
Totally.
I actually saw something, sorry to kind of bring it to a dark place, but this just reminded me.
We keep doing that.
I know. I saw this TikTok of this woman giving a presentation, maybe for her dissertation or something, and I didn't verify any of these facts, so like a grain of salt. But
awesome.
She asked a classroom of people like, how many men do you think are like sexual abusers or like have done nefarious things like that? And women called out like 80%, 90%, whatever. And it was actually like, this is probably not the exact statistic, but it was like something like 8 in 100 men are. But the issue is the men who don't speak up against it, which makes it feel like there's more men doing it.
Yeah.
You know? And those aren't the exact right. And still 8 in 100 men are a lot if that was the right one. But it's like, there are good men out there and there are good people. I think the men who are good, though, have to like make sure that they're speaking out against the bad.
Yeah.
And like when it's hard, when it's like your friend, when you learn it's your friend and it's kind of like not a black and white situation, it's like a gray situation. Because people are like, oh, if something horrible happened, of course I'd speak out against this, but like it's usually more muddled than that when it actually does happen.
So let's talk about men tuition.
Yes.
Because I think you're right. And I think most good men would say, okay, if my friend like did something terrible, if my friend murdered someone,
right,
I wouldn't be okay with it. But like, what's going on with the gut feeling when you see your friend make a joke that's not cool? When you see your friend send you a video of a woman and be like, damn it, another female comedian that's not funny. Like,
right.
When do you start saying something to prevent it and get ahead of it and make it clear that your values are not cool with that kind of rhetoric? And it's hard when more than half our country is not there.
Totally.
But yeah, that's like, I'm putting that out to the men. Yeah. Because we don't know. I don't know what's going on in your gut.
Yeah. Be wary of it. And if something sounds wrong, even if you're not 100% right all the time, don't like say that. Like, hey man, I don't know if that's like not an okay thing to say, but my gut's telling me it might be. Man, like maybe we should look into it.
Yeah. That's a great thing. And I think like people might get defensive and mad. I'm sure you have experience with this as someone who can sometimes maybe get a little too righteous. People don't love being called out for saying something wrong. And then sometimes I just tell myself like, yeah, but it would like, I can be uncomfortable. Like I have the privilege to be uncomfortable in this conversation. Somebody else doesn't. Yeah. If that's who I'm standing up for.
No, 100%. And even if I show up imperfectly, like let me show up and then like learn along the way to make sure I'm doing it in the best way possible.
Yeah, we could all do better, but men could definitely do better.
Have you ever been told you kind of sound like Amy Poehler?
No, but that's thrilling.
When you like are like when you just said we could all do better, like there's a tone you use that kind of sounds like Amy Poehler.
I've been listening to her podcast.
It's so good.
It's so good. And I might know, I don't think I hear it, but I hear like she goes like really close and is like, yeah, I know what you mean.
No,
like,
literally.
She gets in there.
You should, if they ever need like an Amy Poehler voice actor, because she's not available. You know when they're like, when they put on the call sheet, like, or the casting, like, Amy Poehler type, like you should like audition for sure.
Wow. If they do like an Inside Out video game,
and they need like, or they Inside Out, and they need Joy's daughter, like
Joy's daughter.
Yeah.
Wait, this is thrilling, and I love. I mean, I did in college. I had a friend that was like, "You're giving Leslie Knope a lot," and I was like, "Is that a compliment?" I'm not sure.
No, it's definitely a compliment. She's like so optimistic and positive. We love.
I'm trying to hold on to that despite doing a podcast that is bad stories, but I think we look at dating detectives like going to brunch and talking about the craziest dating stories that happen and then being like, damn, We gotta laugh.
We gotta laugh or else we'll cry. But also look at this community we have of people supporting each other. Yeah. And that in itself is a beautiful thing.
If anybody walks away from either of our shows being like, I'm gonna like trust myself a little more, that's kind of all we can do.
Okay, one more question. Like, well, if you have anything else you want to touch on.
In my notes?
In your notes. But I also want to ask about like dating safety. Like, where do you stand on like bringing Gracie, my that's my dog running outside, pitter pattering.
Does she want to come
She would always call it like women weapons. Like she had like mace. She has like this like big like birdie, I think, where like you'd open it and it just makes the loudest noise
I know birdie.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has like all these things. Like, how do you feel about bringing women weapons on date? Not like not intense, but like we are protecting ourselves.
I have been thinking about this a lot. I love that you're asking me right now. I just got coffee with a girl who founded Bestie Defense. So I'm going to give her a shout out. And she has a martial arts background and created like a very specific tool because she felt like a lot of the tools out there weren't actually as good as we wanted. She's like, you know, like your alarm might take a while to get to, and then you've got this pepper spray on this keychain.
Totally.
Like she gives, the thing she said was that it can give you a false sense of defense. A false sense of safety.
Yes.
And I hadn't thought about that. And I think that is real. Like, I definitely never wanted to carry pepper spray. I started carrying pepper spray and I was like, I'm going to be fine. Like, I can walk in the middle of the street in the middle of the night and I'll be...
It's 3 a.m. and I'm okay.
No, why would anyone come at me? And it's like, no, people walk through pepper spray. Like, they...
Totally.
They do. So I think there's like... a balance, as long as you're not using it as a way to be like, I'm good and will not be cautious anymore because I have this, then I think unfortunately it's helpful to have that kind of thing. That's why I started the Don't Get Killed Club, because I was like, I don't know what I would do if I felt like unsafe. I don't know. And it's not about being strong. Like, that's something we're learning. It's just about getting out.
Totally.
You're not trying to win.
You're trying to get away.
You're just trying to get away. And so pepper spray is like a deterrent. I've been hearing the pepper gel versus pepper spray debate. Have you heard about this?
No, I don't even know what pepper gel is.
So pepper spray has been getting criticism that, you know, it's like it could get in your eyes or whatever, which is kind of...
like, depending on the wind.
It depends on the wind. Like, you have to be aware of the wind. Pepper gel, they say, is more specific. I don't think that's great because then you have to get them in the eye. And I don't know about you.
I'm bad at aim.
But I wouldn't be able to aim when I'm being attacked.
No.
And pepper spray, there is like a potential for it to blow back in your eyes, but I'm just speaking what this girl, Sarah, Bestie Defense, literally just told me at coffee. She was like, it's like getting shampoo in your eye. Like, in that, if you're spraying it at someone, it's a lot.
A lot, but the
blowback. Yeah. So I guess... I got really detailed on this answer. You were just like, yes or no, should we carry it? And I'm like, let's go through the details.
I think we should, though, because people don't know, when do we talk about this, you know?
Yeah. And then the alarms, like we sold a Trust Your Femme Tuition alarm, and I think that's good. But again, with the false sense of security, as long as you're aware that, like, it's not everything.
It's like a vibrator. It's a tool towards pleasure. Like the
100%.
Women's weapons are a tool towards safety, but it's not safety.
And we love to bring them in to the mix.
In the bedroom, the women's weapons?
The vibrators I was thinking. I have not yet tried that, but I don't want to shame anyone. If you are going for it.
If you're in a knife play, okay.
Oh my God. Wait, okay, have you read
Is that
Lights?
the book?
Wait, what?
Den of Vipers? Is that the knife blade book?
I don't know. I read Lights Out, Lights Off.
Oh, I don't think is it smutty?
The trigger warnings were 2 pages long. Yes. It was so smutty. Knife play, mask play.
Wow.
Like break-in play, I guess.
Is that a way to learn how self-defense? Like Pink Panther, he hires a guy to break into his apartment.
Good one.
Good one. Not today. And he's like still breaks it.
No, exactly. Okay, so we're going to try that.
Yeah.
That's the next step of Don't Get Killed Club. We'll just attack each other at random.
We'll be like bottoms, like female fight club.
I was thinking about that when I started it.
We actually, my middle school, this is insane, in my basement, we used to have video on Facebook. I'm pretty sure my parents, when they figured out what we were doing, made me take them down. But there was just like a group of like 10 of us girls, and we would just fight each other. And we would film it, and we, like, it would two girls going like at each other at once, and the rest like sitting there eating
like
popcorn
octagon.
and stuff. Yeah, and just like watching, just like, and like one girl broke her clavicle, like, and we were just like this is like us at like 12. We were just like little psycho 12-year-olds being like, let's fucking go.
Wow.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't that violent, but I do think there is like like we all ripped the heads off our Barbies.
Yeah.
Like we were all maniacal.
No, it was just like feeding into that violent side. Like the Lord of the Flies kind of like side of things. Just like realizing you might have emotions that aren't all positive. And like we were just like angsty preteens like feeding into that.
That story just made Yellow Jackets, the TV show, like more believable for me.
Yeah. Well,
not that it wasn't believable, but it's like
some's not believable.
Some of it's not. Sometimes I'm like, where are you guys going with this?
Yeah, I don't think they know.
I don't think so either. But the idea of the pack turning into what it becomes.
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys would have been eating each other. No question.
And it's so funny because my parents' concerns were probably like, oh, they're in the basement, like looking up, like, I don't know, porn or like kissing boys or whatever. And we were literally we're fighting to the death.
Hey, Hunger Games had an impact on us.
No, it was like around that time too.
Yeah.
So
I look back at Hunger Games and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
like, that's
I was influenced.
Child story.
And again, dystopian society going against their corrupt government.
Yes, it's true. It's why we're. Oh, okay. Now we're going on more tangents.
Yes.
I had somebody in my life, an adult that I don't always agree with on everything, but I love them anyway. You know how it is.
Yeah, no, totally.
Kind of being like, you've changed. Like, you moved to West Hollywood and now you're bi. And I'm like, or I've been bi and moved to West Hollywood and was like, this is cool now.
Yeah, I can come out.
But then I was thinking about like me growing up. I was like watching Glee and all my friends were gay. They just weren't out yet. I was like, I actually haven't changed at all.
Yeah.
It's just like what I've turned, like, this is just now my full form.
Totally. And what you chose to see was different. What the adult in your life chose to see was different.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that where I was just like, did you not notice what I was obsessed with then?
Did you
like,
not see me in show choir?
Literally nothing should surprise you about where I am now. But I guess, sure. But like, yeah, like that kind of thing of us becoming political radicals.
Totally.
Like, well, yeah, we were watching Hunger Games and beating each other up in the basement.
And then we were also watching Glee and like being little gay kids. Like, and I love, and I'm so thankful.
Gay radicals.
Yeah, like I was watching Legally Blonde, the competition, like to find the next Elle Woods. Like, of course I'm kind of gay.
The one where they were like singing, didn't they do the thing where they were on stationary bikes and had to sing?
Yes, and then the Whipped in the Shape song, you know, where they're like jumping with the jump rope.
You just brought back a lot. I forgot about some of that.
I'm like, I can't believe I had to come out to you, parents. Like, I was like very much like obviously lusting over these people.
Obviously, I'm like open-minded. quote. Yeah, that. I love this. Now you've just made me want to go back and rewatch a bunch of old things
MTV.
That I watched.
Yeah. Always should. Are there any lasting like intuition, dating, safety advice you want to leave the girls, gays, theys with?
Trust your femtuition. We end every episode saying that. I know that's what I've been talking about this whole time.
No, but as you should.
But just like hear it in your head. Hear my little voice. Yeah. Hear Amy Poehler telling you to trust your femtuition. Yeah. And just think about the ways that yours has developed and think about what your relationship is to your own intuition. Because it's specific to you. Factor in your OCD. Factor in your trauma. Factor in your anxiety. Factor in the TV shows you watched that made you worried about something that you're like, oh my God, what if he's a vampire? Like, you know, we all have our influence.
Totally.
And that's all valid. But yeah, if anybody just takes away that they should kind of sit with themselves and think about it before they go on a date, maybe.
Yeah.
Or if you're questioning anything in your relationship, you know, trust yourself.
And talk to people.
Talk to people.
Talk it
oh my
through.
God, if
If
anyone's
you're not
isolating
sure-
you from your friends, or if anyone doesn't have any friends, red flag.
Yeah. No, definitely. The isolation is real.
Yeah.
That's going to take us into Send It to the Sewers, actually.
Let's go.
Let's go. Send It to the Sewers. This is the portion of the podcast where we rant about something from the week. I think... So are you watching Love Island?
I will. Okay. I haven't. But tell me, okay, this is your rant and also maybe your pitch to see if I want to commit.
So Love Island is a social experiment. Where,
I mean, I've seen it. I've seen UK.
Oh, UK is great. Have you watched season 5 UK?
I don't know which
it's
one.
It's like the best of all time. It's like Maura was in it.
Yep.
And Molly May and Tommy. Who are back together.
Is that Danny? No, that was another one.
Tommy Fury and...
Who's Georgia?
Georgia and Danny. I think we're season 4.
But I know Maura.
Yes. Maura's great. In the US, for a while, didn't have legs until like season 6.
Yeah.
And then it was very fun. It was very like, girls are friends and like, you know, standing up for each other.
Love that.
And like, yeah, it was just good vibes. And then this season... is maybe not great vibes, but it's like Crash Out Central, where like every episode, like there is a character, a human, not just there for my entertainment. They're not my little Sims, but like there is a human there that like every episode she crashes out. And my like Send It to the Sewers is, which I feel bad. I feel like she is going to come off the show, and I really hope there are measures in place for her to help transition, because she's getting a lot of hate right now. And I don't want to pile onto that hate. All this is
maybe she'll come on your show.
Yeah, I would love, because, you know, Love Island has a bad history of people having mental health crises afterwards, specifically in the UK, because the UK press is so bad.
So bad.
And would go in on people. But there have been, like, you know...
I didn't really know that, but I'm not surprised.
3 people from the UK side of it have, like, killed themselves.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so this is really dark. So I'm just, like, whenever we talk about... Send It to the Sewer, people being so nasty about these people on this show. Because, like, we have to understand, like, we don't know how we would act in these scenarios. All they're doing is being around each other. Nonstop. They have no phones. They have nothing to distract them. All their feelings are enhanced. They're probably not getting great sleep because they're all in the same room together.
Also, like I don't know if I would, I know they all look great, but like being in a bathing suit all day long would do things to my mental health too.
Give me a yeast infection at least. Like, yeah, a BV infection.
I mean, you're not in your normal headspace.
You're not in your normal headspace. You're in the sun all day. The producers, the show is meant to like play with your emotions. So I feel like we have to be very careful when talking about people from the show. And we also have to like give everyone grace. But, so Send It to the Sewers, that people being so nasty, like people commenting on their Instagrams, like whatever. But one of the people from the show, Huda, which by the time this comes out on Tuesday, who knows? There's an episode every night. So she was coupled up with Jeremiah, no longer is. But when she was coupled up with him before they had their big like crash out, like breakup thing, she told him like, you are not allowed to talk to anyone else about our issues. Like, you shouldn't be talking to the men about our issues. You shouldn't be talking to the women about our issues. And it just felt like a very manipulative, like, it's an insecurity is coming from her end. But it was just another way to, like, turn him against everyone else and make it them against the world,
I agree with you, having not seen that show at all.
Yeah, please validate me having not seen it.
No, because I do think that there's something to be said if you're like in a committed relationship, like if my partner and I have talked about this, where it's like, don't talk to another girl about our things.
And she did say that, and I like was like, okay, I can agree. But then,
are they like official? They've been together for like 3 days, right?
Like, yeah, but then she turned it on like, don't talk to other guys, because
that you can't.
Because he let some of the things other guys like said get to him, and I think they were just expressing concerns, like, and they thought it was a safe space to do so, and it turned out it wasn't, because he immediately went and ran with those concerns to her, and it was just like a domino of bad things happening, basically.
Yeah.
But I think, yes, important not to shit talk your partner, but like when you're coming from a loving place.
No, you
like,
need support.
You need support, and you need someone you can talk through with. And you don't want to isolate someone from those people who could give them that support.
No, that is a like concept, especially. I think I just blanket know that like my boyfriend's best friend knows my crazy.
Totally.
Like, Leo, shout out. Like, you know my shit. And I love Leo. And
Yeah.
I know that that's who my boyfriend goes to when he needs support. And I'm glad.
You want someone there for them.
Yes.
Like, because you love them and you want the best for them.
Especially men.
Yeah.
But I guess also on a show, like you said, it's like a
it's so
different
heightened
thing.
But I was just like, damn, like this is like we are watching some interesting like tactics happening in real life. And it's kind of not being talked about as much. She's like displaying some behaviors that I don't think are healthy. And I think because she is a woman, it's actually like
Getting worse. Like,
it's it's getting I don't know how a man would be actually treated online or stuff, but like I feel like we're not talking about the fact that she is actually like doing harmful behavior. Like she's calling him a bitch. She's calling him like
she's
fuck
abusing.
You. Yeah. And like, and it's like, that's.
There was another show where that happened.
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind that happened. There was a girl that was being like really mean to the guy, and he was definitely her criticisms were valid.
Yeah.
But her delivery was like emotionally abusive. I'm back to Amy Poehler. Yeah. But it is difficult to talk about that where you're like, wait, she is a woman, so we're not sure if we're just casting her as the bitch.
Right, totally. It's
but
like,
also it's real.
It's a more nuanced conversation, which I don't think online is often happening. Like people online are like going wild. And it's like, okay, we need to like talk about like, okay, maybe Jeremiah's not a perfect victim, you know, like, or...
But does he, is
and
that
maybe
okay
he
treatment?
is displaying fuckboy behavior, but does it mean he should be treated this way? Like,
I also don't know if any of them are people of color, but that factors in as well.
Yeah, they both are, but yeah.
Oh, great. Just make it a harder conversation, but it's true. Like that, I feel like people are just extra...
No, totally.
Extra tough in their criticism. All right, maybe I'll watch it so I can actually comment.
It is interesting for the like relationship psychology aspect of it. Like,
yeah, part of that is why I love to watch it, and part of that is why I don't. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't want to have to be analyzing.
Totally.
I don't want to be a therapist to people I don't even know that don't need my opinion.
Right. That's
but
like
I simply have to have an opinion. Why else am I here?
No, totally.
So
what are you sending to the sewer?
Oh, I had a lot of things that I was thinking about that like weren't fun. I was like, this week is bad. I was like, ice?
No, you send ice to the sewer, please.
Can we send ice to the sewer?
Of course. But melt ice.
Yeah, well, melt ice. That's that. And then I was thinking about knowing that you are also a Harry Potter fan, a safe space to talk about this.
J.K. Rowling.
I was sending, not only J.K. Rowling, but Malfoy, Tom Felton. Did you see what he said on the red carpet?
Yeah,
he was just like, I'm not attuned to the conversation, specifically that wording to me.
And it's like, you are the most online man I have ever seen in my life. You are every day posting a video or picture of you still related to Draco Malfoy.
Harry Potter, yeah. Like,
you know that J.K. Rowling is anti-trans. You have not...
There's no excuse.
Yes.
Just that alone was like so heartbreaking, and also made me think about the new show and how I said this too when we had coffee, and I'm gonna like spread the gospel even more.
No, do it.
For our Harry Potter lovers who are like don't want to give it up. Mm-hmm. One, like I hope you already own the books. There's a fan fiction called All the Young Dudes that is so good, and it's my favorite 3 Harry Potter books, even though it's not written by J.K. Rowling. It's written by Miss King Bean 89.
We love Miss King Bean 89's influence that she put her whole pussy into we don't know. But like they are like people writing fan fiction do it for no money. They just do it for the love of the game.
Well, you sent me the document that your cousin makes, right? Of all the you should plug her. I forget her.
I should post it online. I'm going to have her on the podcast because she actually has a Harry Potter fan fiction she writes called Succumbing. It's about
great.
What's the snake's name? And Nagini and Tom Riddle, like before he's Voldemort. Yeah, and so she has a rare pairings list like a rare pairings document of all these different places you can find Harry Potter fan fiction, like especially if you're looking for like rare, like if you're looking for like Ron and Draco, you know, like pairings that you would not normally see.
And they're
she
good.
has like other pairings too, but like pairings like that. But
All the Young Dudes is like the Marauders, and it is everything you wish Harry Potter was. Like it's gay, it's real, gritty. It's Sirius and Remus, if you're into that.
Ooh, definitely into
you will
that.
be into that. But the point, I think, I'm sending like the actual Harry Potter branded stuff to the sewers, but I'm pulling the fan fiction out. And I'm telling our people, like, we don't have to watch the new series. We can still have this world without her.
The community aspect, like the magic we felt at that time, like that's real. And the friends we made, me going to the midnight premiere with my friends, like that was so special. Like,
and
you
I
can
hate
still
all
have
the
that
trans
feeling.
people that felt connected to Harry Potter.
Which of course they felt connected. Like, it's so crazy that she hates trans people when she wrote this book that like has a class called Transfiguration that literally like helps people like turn into cats, turn into like,
it's like,
or,
oh,
like
that's
college's potion, or like where you're literally like becoming other people. And she's like, oh, people saw them like
Selves in this?
Yeah, like how? And it's like, what? Like, how do you not realize that?
Yeah, that's such a good point. I can't believe I've like not even really thought about the actual. I've just thought about like, oh yeah, an outcast who's different and that we feel connected. It's like, no, there were specifically things in it that you could be like, oh, that's a fantasy trans thing. Okay,
totally.
Well, F that.
Yeah.
And Tom Felton, if you're listening,
F you.
You're giving Slytherin right now, buddy.
And not
it's
in the
not okay.
fun way.
Yeah, it really made me upset, but if that means more people read All the Young Dudes, then I'm okay with. No, I'm not okay with it. That's not what I meant. I'm not okay with it, but that's what I want to happen.
Also, it's just like,
and I want people to boycott the new show.
Oh, I hope they boycott it. I will not be watching.
No.
Obviously, and I do feel for those like 3 little children who were cast because they like have no.
I get the argument. There's more people involved, but at this point,
it's like we have gone so far. There's no denying. She just created a organization that was anti-trans. Like, why is she dying on this hill? You are a billionaire. Like, it is. So I could like go on about her all day.
Right.
But
she to me is like a lost cause. It's then now we're talking about the men that don't stand up to their friends. It's like the Tom Feltons.
Yes.
And that group is like, guys, we're the ones that now have to make a point to stand on. We have to stand on business.
Stand on business, which I love that Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson all have, because like that helps save some of the magic like around it.
That's the spirit of Hogwarts right there.
Yeah, and it's so funny because people were saying like, she is like literally doing this reboot because she hates them now, like because they speak against her. So she wants like 3 new like main minds.
Didn't she fully tweet?
I think she tweeted that. She was like, someone tweeted like, or what's your biggest like or adversary or something issue or enemy, and she like retweeted and was like, I can name 3. Like, was obviously like referring to them.
It's crazy talk. Like, she's a child.
A child.
Not worth our time or money.
No, not at all.
And this fan fiction is free.
And it's free.
It's free online, which bothers me because I want to pay the writer.
No, totally.
But
they just do it for the love of the game.
They do it for the love of the game.
So where can people find you?
The Dating Detectives is anywhere you get podcasts.
Yay.
And I'm on Instagram at Hanna Andergram.
Love it.
Hanna, no H. And Don't Get Killed Club is in LA right now. That's also like don'tgetkilledclub.com, you know. But at some point, I think my dream is that if we tour with the podcast, we also do workshops in the cities where we go.
That's such a good idea.
We could do a little self-defense workshop around the world.
Oh my God. And then with like PI info too. Oh, love it.
Exactly.
Love it. It all goes hand in hand.
You were there. We're not learning like karate moves. It's literally like, here's what to do if someone grabs your wrist. Here's what to do if somebody is cornering you in this way. Like, and usually when in doubt, like kick the balls is kind of the thing. It's just like getting that in your body, like practicing that in a safe space so that if you're in a non-safe space, unsafe.
It's okay. No, I'm laughing because I'm remembering how we were talking about like those videos on TikTok that are like, if someone's attacking you from behind in the car, like you're meant to like
pull the seat back.
Pull the seat back, but like so many seats are electric now, so it pulling back
slow.
wouldn't be like immediate. It would be like this is really slow.
Yeah. I know. That's also take a workshop. Like the videos are great, whatever, but they're not going to teach you what to do.
Totally. Do it in real life. Do it at Don't Get Killed Club.
Come punch something with me.
Yes. And thank you so much for being here. I had the best time chatting with you, and I'm glad you christened this room.
I'm thrilled. It's beautiful, and I've been a fan of your stuff for a long time. You've made me feel more comfortable being very open in public. Because a lot of us don't know how to talk about sex and stuff when we should. Because why not? We're all doing it.
We're all doing it. And I'm such a huge fan of you and everything you do. And I'm so happy that you're like putting good vibes out there for the women because we just need more of that, especially right now.
Trust your femtuition.
Trust your femtuition. Thank you, Feral Friends, for listening. Check out Hannah. We love you. And I will see you next week. Bye.